My Fertility Path, brought to you by the Fertility Awareness Advocate Initiative.
Hello, my name is Untitled and the show is My Fertility Path, brought to you by the Fertility Awareness Advocate Initiative. This is the only show where we share real stories about infertility, the struggles, treatment available, and the joy that comes there and after. Today, on My Fertility Path, we will be looking at the male factor. Male infertility is infertility traceable solely to the male gender. According to medical reports, this is alarmingly on the rise. 40 to 50% of infertility cases can be traced to the man, and this is against a popular belief that it is always the woman. What role does low sperm count play? What is low sperm motility? All these and so much more when we return. With me in the studio, as always, is our resident doctor, Dr. Bayomi Ajayi, the CEO of Nordica Fertility Center. Also here is a senior clinical embryologist. Both of them will be taking us through the topic of male factor infertility. You're welcome to the show, Dr. Bayomi.
Thank you so much.
And Damilola.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So let us start, and let me start by asking, what is male factor infertility?
Well, male factor infertility is when the man is solely responsible for not getting his partner pregnant. And just like you said in your intro, it's really a very common thing, not only in Nigeria, but it's like an epidemic in the world.
Oh, wow.
We seem to see that the incidence might be rising all over the world, but especially in places where they keep figures.
And how common is this?
Well, it could be said to be as common as maybe 40 to 60% of the time, because when you look at the fact that sometimes the man alone is responsible, and then you look at the time sometimes when there's a combined effort, as it were, in achieving infertility. So it can be as common as 40 to 60% of the time.
Okay. Can I ask you, Damilola, as an embryologist, what is the most shocking case you've seen or you've had to deal with?
Well, we have situations whereby a man does not have any sperm in his semen. Now, there's this notion with men that once you're ejaculating something, men say, I'm fine, there's nothing wrong. But we as scientists, we know that that's not it. What a man ejaculates is the semen, and which we get in the laboratory, and then we analyze and check for the sperm cells. It's the sperm cell that is responsible for getting a woman pregnant, actually. So there are situations whereby a man does not have any sperm cell at all in his semen. Now, to a man, such diagnosis can be very devastating, it can be very fatal, and sometimes final.
Oh, bless.
But with ART, what we do, sometimes there might be hope.
What is ART?
Assisted reproductive technology, which is what we would probably know as IVF treatment.
Logically, she's drawing you to the laboratory.
She is.
That's where she works.
I know. I can hear that. So, are there specific causes? Environmental, scientific? What are the causes of this?
Well, there are a lot of causes of male factor infertility. The genetic factor comes in, the lifestyle factors come in, the environmental and occupational exposures come in, hormones come in. So there's a lot of interplay with, and that's one of the problems with male factor infertility, that it's difficult to pinpoint one single factor, and therefore it's like a lot of factors are collaborating against us as men.
So I'll ask you this question again. As a man, what is the most shocking thing? You're a doctor as well, and you've had to deal with cases. So what are the things that you've seen that have been devastating?
Really, many things. And one that probably easily comes to mind is that sometimes when you have male factor infertility, miracles happen. A man has 3 wives or 4 wives, and then probably 3 of them are getting pregnant and 1 is not getting pregnant. And that's what brings this to the fore, that you see that, okay, you now do the test and see that the man actually has no sperm. And I had that experience many, many years ago.
Okay, so let me understand this. So you're saying that the man has absolutely no sperm count.
Oh, yes.
And the wives get pregnant.
Well, that's why I say that's a miracle.
In quotes.
Yeah. But, one thing that we also saw, seriously now, is that we reviewed about 900 sperm samples, over 900. And we said in our center, we said about 12% of men don't have any sperm in their semen at all. So that's one of the things that we think people should know about that. There's a factor of low sperm, but there is a factor of no sperm at all. And that's really, really very, very worrying. Dami will probably tell you that out of every 2 samples that she examines, 1 is abnormal.
Okay, doctor, that was a very interesting case, by the way. I wish I had all day. I'd like to hear the story. But let me ask you, as an embryologist, what is the most peculiar case you've come across? I'm sure you have loads.
Yes, I do. I mentioned earlier about having no sperms in the semen and all hope not being lost. Now, in such a situation, what we can do is to go to the man's testes. That's where the production of the sperm is. You see, in some cases, why we do not see sperm cells in the semen in the first place is due to a fault in the transport system. And I'll explain to you. If you look at the anatomy of the man, the production is being done in a particular site, the testes.
The testes,
But then the sperm cells have to be ejaculated out into the woman. So there has to be some sort of transport system. So alas, if there's something wrong with the transport system, we will check the semen and we won't find sperms, but they will be in the production site. So with ART, we can go to the production site, which is the testes, extract some sperm cells, work in the laboratory with the woman's eggs, develop embryos, and then achieve pregnancy. Now, a particular case comes to mind of a particular couple who have, they've heard so many things, having no sperm count. It's like all O+. They came to our center, actually, they were already ready to use donor sperms without knowing about this procedure. And then we said, why don't we try this? This could be the problem. And I can tell you today, they've achieved pregnancies 2 times.
They have 2, oh bless,
2 times.
That's amazing.
One time successful, another time came back successful. And they're happy today.
So doctor, give us another, your stories are interesting.
Well, yes, like what Dami described is like the end. Sometimes, wonderful result. But sometimes they will have gone through, a lot of things, like a man who had a side chick, that's what we say in Nigeria, had a side chick who got pregnant for him.
I'm really not aware. Okay, go on.
Who got pregnant for him.
Yes.
And then, meanwhile, the wife at home was not pregnant. And then they had done quite a lot of things. And then until recently, many doctors don't even touch the men. They just, the women do all the tests and they're happy to do it. And the men just say, no, there's nothing wrong with me. I impregnated somebody when I was in Form 4. And then I impregnated another one when I was in the university. But come on, you do the sperm count and there is absolutely nothing.
So I don't want to call it, but it really mightn't be yours.
Well, that is the debate for another day.
All right, then. This conversation is definitely far from over. So when we come back, we will be talking about education. We'll have Doctor and the embryologist, Damilola, who's still here with us, tell us the things we should know and the role our society plays in this topic. Doctor, that was such a funny joke. I wish I could share that with you. Oh my God.
Please don't.
I concur.
You concur. You're welcome back to the show. You're still watching My Fertility Path with both Dr. Jai and clinical embryologist Adedamilola. And they've told us so far the signs to look out for and what the male factor infertility is all about. My question is, why is it so hard to accept the message of male infertility? Let's hear from the streets.
Infertility caused by men? No. I don't, of my opinion, I think no. And I would not rather put it on either of the gender. I think more to it could be scientific, or naturally it could be more of a conservative. Africa, sometimes we believe infertility is geared more to the female gender.
Infertility goes both ways. So it's not, I'm a man, I have kids as well, and I would say that this is infertility goes both ways. It could be from the man, it could be from the woman. And in this part of the world that we live in, it's women always get to bear the responsibility, and which I don't think is fair to them, if you'd ask me. But we are growing in Nigeria in terms of knowledge, in terms of enlightenment, and people are beginning to realize that this goes both ways.
In our African culture, men don't want to accept that they have infertility issues. And there are so many technological factors, environmental factors that have shown and proven that there are men who have these issues. So infertility obviously is a man and woman issue. And the moment we begin to understand and appreciate that, both parties must begin to find solutions on how to resolve it. So women can get surrogacy, men can actually help and get issues of some men who want to stop can have the vasectomy. Many of us are always scared of getting a vasectomy if that's their own way of birth control. Men should also know that there are technological factors like using your laptops, issues of cancer. Those things stop the sperm from generating. So these are things that knowledge that we must get out there, that people must know. Those factors that cause men not to produce. So these are things we need to inform men so they know, because infertility can definitely be both ways.
I don't think infertility can be caused by, it can be caused by a human being. For men and women, it can be caused maybe by your lifestyle.
Mixed reactions there, right?
Yep.
Male factor infertility accounts for half of fertility issues. Why is our society obsessed with locating infertility in women's bodies? Please educate me.
I guess it's $1 million question, but maybe it's traceable to the fact that it's the women who get pregnant normally. So when, after marriage and there is no bump, it's the woman they ask most of the time, and therefore she's the person to blame sometimes when it's not coming up.
Yes,
The bad part is that the women are also so willing to take it on.
It drives me crazy, because it's when you get married, or even if you're not married and you decide to get pregnant, or you're with a partner or something, it's two people who come together to do it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So why do people insist it's the woman?
I think I like that word insist, because even when the woman wants to say otherwise, nobody listens. Even when she says, oh, it's not my problem, it's my husband. In fact, in this environment, it's more or less like a taboo. You shouldn't say that. Your in-laws are going to come at you. Your friends, your own parents or family might likely come at you for saying that, so you dare not. I think it's a mindset in our society, because you probably will not find this happening in any other sphere or any other society as bad as this. But here,
I think the male ego does it as well.
Yep.
There's this ego thing that comes up to play, because if you ask, oh, you're not pregnant yet, she can't say, oh, she can't even use the we.
No.
That we're trying. She says,
I'm trying.
I'm trying.
Yeah, again, you know that we mistake virility for fertility. This is what I mean.
Right.
The fact that a man can have sex is taken to be the test of his manhood, as it were. Okay, once you can have sex, then you're good. All right, but what do you discharge? Is it bad bullets or blank bullets? Nobody really knows that, because for you to be able to see sperm, you need to look under the microscope.
Right. So you're saying that regardless of how great you are in bed, doesn't mean that you're viral.
At all, not related.
Regardless of how many rounds you can go, it doesn't
Let's
mean.
hold that thought. So do you think that, what role do you think religion plays? Because we're quite a religious society.
Yes.
We go to church.
Okay.
I don't know about the other one.
So what do you think religion does to us as a people?
Well, like you said, we're quite a religious society,
Yes.
and that might it has a lot to play in what we think. And so religious bodies might not really be playing the role that they should be playing in educating people, especially when it comes to infertility. I mean, we've seen so much cases of male factor infertility, and they come to us low sperm count. They've been trying for years, 20 years, some 25 years. By the time they get to us, the woman is too old to probably use her own eggs, and we're telling her that you have to use a donor eggs. Alas, for her husband, we can still use his own sperm, even if we have 100,000 there, and he has been the one with the problem. But then I've had situations where I have spoken with clients and they feel hungry with their pastors, with God as a way, saying, why did you tell me to hold on and expect a miracle? If I knew about IVF, I would have come a whole lot earlier and I would still be able to have my own genetic children. And so they feel cheated.
Yeah.
You would feel cheated. I would if it was a case like that, because I think that if you've got a headache, you should take painkillers for it.
Exactly. That's where what Dami said. I mean, that sometimes, and what you have been saying, this education thing.
Yes.
The people in charge of the churches also is how much they know that they can impact on anybody.
That's a
You
point. That's a
you
point.
can't give what you don't have. So the education is so important, even to church leaders, even to everybody. Don't forget that these are opinion leaders, no matter how you dice it or cut it,
Sure.
they are opinion leaders.
Yes.
And therefore it's important also for them to understand that the fact that a man can have sex does not mean that he's fertile.
Okay, I know when I ask this question, someone's going to say, oh, yes, and say he's a feminist. But do you think that the fact that we have a patriarchal society also plays a big part in this?
Guilty as charged.
Seconded.
Seconded, right?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah,
Totally.
it's part of it. Definitely
Yeah.
part of it. The women rarely can. There's sin. They can be seen, but they can't
Be
really
heard.
be heard.
And when
And
they're
so-
hurt, they're rude.
Yeah, so that's one of the things. Because you see sometimes that the woman even knows that the husband is the one at fault.
And then
She
lifestyle.
dare not say it.
She
Oh,
can't. What about lifestyle and environment?
Wow.
That's so very important.
Yes.
That there's no enough attention to it. The things we drink these days, I mean, we did a study 10 years apart. We
Yes.
tried to look at the sperm parameters of men, and we found out that there's about 50% decrease in sperm count within the last 10 years. That's very alarming.
Alcohol?
Part of
Well,
it.
part of it, yeah, could be alcohol, drug use, obesity, sedentary lifestyle.
Sedentary. People don't walk. People don't exercise.
Exactly.
Okay, just hold this, right? When we return, we will be looking at treatment options. Please stay with us. You are still watching My Fertility Path, and in this segment of the show, we will be looking at different treatment options. I'm still here with our resident doctor, Dr. Abayomi Ajayi and Damilola Atiba. Now, let's look at treatment options. Some people are of the opinion that certain drugs can cure the male factor infertility. How true is this?
Well, I guess that's one of the most spread untruth in male factor infertility because...
Did you say untruth?
Or myth.
Or myth, okay.
Because drugs generally don't work for male factor infertility. Only about 5% of people with male factor infertility might benefit from drugs. So 95% do not. And therefore, most of the time, the drugs, and these drugs also, there are a potpourri of them, from vitamins to, there is none now that is proven to be of benefit. The only 5% are the people where you can demonstrate that the problem they have is hormonal insufficiency and you replace the hormones.
And then to add to that, I think the way I like to explain it to some clients that do ask directly is, we have done an analysis and then we say you have 1 million per male sperm count. Mm-hmm. The WHO says the normal one is 15 million. And then I throw this question back to them. I say that how long are you going to use the drug for 1 million to get us to 15 million such that we can achieve natural pregnancy? So it's $1 million question.
A $15 million question.
Exactly.
So then what are the treatment options for male factor infertility?
Well, that's where Dami comes in. So.
Dami!
I always say that the male is lucky because, like I tell our clients, as long as we can see something, it's moving, it's viable, there is hope. Now, unlike a woman where sometimes at the point we have to throw donor eggs at our face, it's a bit flexible for male. So there are a lot of things that we look at. What are the things that can go wrong with the male? It could be count. It could be the way the sperm looks, because the sperm has to have a certain normal shape for it to be able to achieve pregnancy. Mm-hmm. It could be motility. The sperm cell is the only cell in the body that is motile, needs to move in order to be able to fertilize the egg. So it could be any of those things. Whatever it is, there are so many techniques that would address each and every one. And if it's a combination, because sometimes we have a combination of everything being wrong, low sperm count, very bad morphology in terms of physical appearance, very low motility, all of those things wrong. We combine all of these technologies. We have machines and technologies that will help us to choose the best sperms. We have chemicals, dishes that would help us to select the best sperm. So you select first and then you use it to fertilize the eggs in order for you to achieve pregnancy, hopefully normal pregnancy.
Hopefully normal pregnancy. So in that case, you don't necessarily need to get a donor egg if the woman is fine and all that.
Two things. Because in order to achieve pregnancy, like you mentioned earlier, two things have to come into play. The sperm and the egg.
And the egg.
Sometimes you don't sort out only one, leaving the other. You might have to deal with the two.
You might have to deal with the two.
So the best way to treat male factor infertility is a form of IVF. That's what she said.
Okay.
To be able to take the sperm and the egg and bring them together outside the body, because that's what.
So you must still extract eggs from the woman.
Absolutely.
To treat male factor infertility.
Absolutely.
And that's why some women say, look, it's my man that has a problem. It's me you are treating.
Well, because it can be daunting. It can be daunting.
Exactly.
I know. It can be daunting. It can be mentally stressful. I know that.
Yeah.
So, Dr. J, if you had one more word of advice or just anything, even was it that joke you cracked, what would it be? What would you tell our audience?
Well, what I'll tell them is that to know that male factor infertility is real.
Okay.
And there is hope also for people who have male factor. You know, Dami said that men are lucky. And it's the truth. Because unless you don't, even when you don't have sperm, sometimes, like she described, we can go to the testes and find in some people. Unlike when when the eggs are finished, they're finished.
They're done.
Yeah, you know, so that's one thing. So men should not despair, especially couples should not despair when there's infertility because there is a way out.
And they must check so you don't waste
Can
time.
overemphasize that.
Yes, I think that checking is paramount.
Very important.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you all for watching. I hope you've learned a thing or two about male factor infertility today. And always remember, infertility should never define you. See someone, talk to someone today. My name is Untitled Chapter. Keep sharing, keep educating, and see you next time.
My Fertility Path, brought to you by the Fertility Awareness Advocate Initiative.